Coming up on the Paper Talk today is Sir Bobby Charlton's funeral today, so we'll be looking at that. Also, there's talk of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and how he's going to spend his money, and when is it going to be announced that Ineos is taking over? Let's check it out. Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and the weather, it's pretty mild. It's a bit cold, so if you've got your parkers, wear them. Loads of stories to get through this morning. First of all, though, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribing to the channel. Right, today is the funeral of Sir Bobby Charlton. It's taking place at Manchester Cathedral later on this afternoon. The procession is going to go past Old Trafford, just round the corner in front of the stadium. You can see, obviously, where the Trinity statue is. All the pictures, there's usually pictures of United throughout the ages just behind the Trinity statue. Today, there's just pictures of Sir Bobby Charlton. Not just Sir Bobby Charlton, but Sir Bobby Charlton throughout his entire career. So there's pictures of him playing for Manchester United as a young lad. There's pictures of him lifting the European Cup. Then there's pictures of him more recently with some of the modern players as well. It's just a sort of a memorial to Sir Bobby Charlton, and there's pictures of him in front of the stadium as well, as you would expect today. So if you are able to get down there and pay your respects, you can come to Old Trafford, and I think there's going to be a procession all the way to Manchester Cathedral where the funeral will take place. Manchester United on their social media accounts say, today we celebrate the life of Sir Bobby Charlton. We will be dedicating the entire day to pay our respects to a man whose legacy is an inspiration to us all. Now, moving on to other news as well. The takeover, Ineos Takeover. We were hearing that it could be announced today, that there could be some sort of an announcement today. However, that doesn't seem to be the case. We heard from David Ornstein yesterday. He was talking to NBC Sports, and he said that basically there will be an announcement this week, but he doesn't expect it to be today because of Sir Bobby Charlton's funeral. Doesn't see them being any announcement because of that. As a sort of mark of respect, you're not going to make an announcement about takeover during that time. Now, the takeover itself is 25% from Ineos, but the big news is it's going to give Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos sporting control over the club, over footballing matters. That's what David Ornstein was saying to NBC over the weekend. So you'll see, I think it's Dave Brailsford coming in. There's going to be this sort of three-pronged attack, like this triumvirate, is that the right word, of Sir David Brailsford, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Joel Glazer, who'll be making the footballing decisions. But by and large, the football side goes to Ineos and the commercial side stays with the Glazers, which is a sort of a deal or a setup that probably suits anyone, or everyone I should say. Now, there was talk that Ineos were going to bring in Paul Mitchell. That now looks like it could even be Dougie Freidman. I had this news over the weekend, I had it yesterday in the Gazette, that Dougie Freidman could be being brought in as sporting director at Manchester United. He's worked, I think, at Crystal Palace, as sporting director there, and he could be coming in as sporting director at Manchester United or as director of football. We'll have to see how that looks. But no announcement today. We're expecting an announcement this week. And Ornstein mentioned the fact that this looks like being viewed as a route to a full takeover, the 25%, the initial 25%. Now, we know Sir Jim Ratcliffe is putting in 1.5 billion, and of that, around 245 million will be going to improve the infrastructure at the club. Now, that isn't enough to build a new stadium, and it doesn't look like we're going to get one. It looks like the bulk of that money is actually going to be spent on the training ground on Carrington. It needs it. Carrington needs a massive revamp, but it's not been touched, I think, since 2000 when it was built, other than a few trees being knocked down and put in or whatever, or cameras being taken down and put back up. Nothing sort of fundamentally has changed at Carrington over the last 23 years. So big money being spent on Carrington. In terms of the stadium, though, there is going to be work spent on the stadium, but it looks like it won't be a new stadium. It'll just be a bit of a revamp. We'll have to see how that looks, though. Any update on that, we'll let you know. Just on other news as well, Mason Greenwood, it looks like he could be staying at Getafe for a bit longer. There's news stories doing the rounds this morning. I think this is being reported in several newspapers that Mason Greenwood could be extending his time at Getafe. However, Getafe are looking to make it a permanent deal. The club still apparently don't feel like that is the best option, and it could be him getting his loan deal extended there. He's been on loan there this season. I think he's got about 3 goals in 10 games for him in all competitions. They're keen to keep him there. I think at the moment Manchester United are paying a big chunk of his 75k a week wages. That could change though if he signs a longer term loan deal with Getafe. They want to keep him there. The club are willing to let him stay there. However, it doesn't look like it is going to be a permanent deal. It says here the likely option is that United agree for the loan to be extended, as they know that Mason is happy and rebuilding his life. They know he needs to grow up and want him to do so. And so far, the Getafe loan has worked out well for everyone. So it looks like Mason Greenwood could be staying at Getafe, but not on a permanent deal. I'm going to leave it there. Make sure, as I said earlier, you are subscribing to the channel. Hit that like button as well. We've got other videos coming up. We've got the Paddock podcast, of course, later on today. Plus, if you want to go and check out the previous videos from over the weekend, get all that match reaction from the epic 1-0 win over Luton. It's mad as well, isn't it? Just looking at that. That United are the most informed team in the league at the minute. I think we've got 4 wins out of 5, right? We're 6, which isn't anything to shout home about. It's not like, oh, we're going to win the title. But I think is it 7 points off the top of the table? Something like that. I mean, considering the talk has been Erik ten Hag being under all this pressure, and he is. I'm not saying he isn't. It's not that grim when you look at the table and when you look at the recent results. It's just when you scratch beneath the surface and look at the performances, you might start to question it. But who knows? If you get a few players back this manager properly, back him again in January, maybe this season won't end as the disaster everyone was predicting. Anyway, on that optimistic note, I'll leave it there. I'm Jay Motty. This has been a Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.